Well, hello, my peeps. It's Antoinette here, and I will tell you that we are doing a different video than I originally planned because, for full disclosure, I have to tell you that ever since I had the coronavirus, I've been totally off track. Ever since 2013, when I really went hard keto, I have never cheated. Now, I say this with the rules and guidelines that I had for myself, which were once I hit my size 10, which is where I wanted to be, and decided not to look old and not lose more weight, my rules were that I would allow myself 2 cheat meals a week. Now, I never called them cheat meals. Well, I did, but I mean, what else do you call them when you up the carbs a bit? But I reserved them for going out to eat. The rest of the time in the week, I was really good, and that really, I learned through that about how carving up a little bit helps you out. So with the carb up days, I never went crazy with it. Like, for instance, if I went out to a restaurant, I would have to choose between the bread or the potato, but never both. Never both. So I never went crazy with the carb up. But I've been so out of whack. I mean, I've been going through drive-thrus. I've lost my way. So I didn't want to do another egg fast or any other fix. So I went back to the 80s. That's right. Now, in the 80s, I remember me and my husband went to a friend's house, and this guy was making pots, huge pots full of what he called poor man's stew. But what it really was the cabbage soup diet. And I learned that very shortly after because everybody was doing it. At the time, I was living in Louisiana. And now, back then, it was to lose quick 10 pounds to get into that dress for the wedding. I mean, nowadays, you see people really cutting down that cabbage soup diet because they considered it a diet. It wasn't a diet. It was just a quick something that you did to get into that dress. That's what it was. But I'm doing it a bit differently. I haven't made this soup in a long time. But what I plan on doing with, I will get my protein. I'm going to have wonderful keto breakfast with eggs every morning, and for lunch and dinner I will have the cabbage soup. Now, I have pulled 3 recipes from Pinterest on this cabbage soup, diet soup. So I don't exactly like all of them, but I'm also going from memory of the cabbage soup diet. So I'm taking these 3 and making my own out of it, along with my memory of the cabbage soup diet. So stay tuned and we'll get started. Okay. Check out my cabbage. Can you believe this is 1 head of cabbage? I know, but you know how much it cooks down. This was a very large head. It'll cook down. All right, so I got all the heavy lifting done. I have all the good parts of the celery. This is a whole stalk. Kept the leaves, and I put a bunch of the white part of the celery in the garbage disposal. So I wasted that. I have 4 white onions, roughly chopped. I didn't even use my Vidalia Wizard because since this is soup, I don't want them in little tiny dices. I want them in nice onion pieces, roughly chopped. The original recipe calls for green pepper, but I don't like putting green pepper in my dishes, only a little bit. It makes everything taste like green pepper. This is 1 big orange one. This is a 2-cup measuring cup, but I also had 6 little other guys in the refrigerator, and they were starting to get wrinkled up, so I included them in here. So good thing I don't have a lot of food in the refrigerator because this is what I'll be eating all week. There went my knife. Here I have a bunch of green onions. One of the recipes called for green onions, and one of them called for 6 cups of onions. So that is 4 cups roughly chopped, and then a bunch of the green onions. I thought that would do well. The carrots, I was not gonna mess with the carrots. It's been so long since I made carrots because they're really technically not keto, but this week they are. So I just bought these carrot chips. And so it's 1 pound already sliced up and chopped. And I like the ridges in it too, so I thought that would be good. I want to just tell you about the 3 recipes that I'm using as inspiration to go along with my memory bank of this cabbage soup recipe. The first one is food.com, the original cabbage soup diet. It says 48 ounces of V8 vegetable juice, so that's not happening. Raven's Fate, her diet cabbage soup. There it is. She did add from the original recipe these, the green beans. I remembered this from the original recipe back in the 80s. And I mean, I was going to get these anyway, and I was glad to see that one of the recipes remembered that they had that. But one of these has Lipton onion soup mix, so no, that's not going in either. Anyway, I need to take a break for a bit, and when I get back, we're gonna start making the soup. Now, I know that this seems like, you know, a lot of work, but this is a, you know, detox, a reset, shall I say. So it's really not, when you think about the fact that I'm gonna be eating this all week. The only thing I have to make myself is breakfast. So there's that. I'll be back in a flash. I have here my Wolfgang Puck 5-quart cast iron enamel covered pot. This was, in the 70s, the original crock pot. People would put their dish together and put it in the oven at like 250 degrees all day long before the crock pot was ever invented. I'm going to pour in the onions. Seems like a lot of onions. I'm going to put in the peppers. This seems like it's filling up fast already. And the celery. Well, this is filling up my pot. My pot seems so full already. All right, I'm gonna cook that down, and then somehow we're gonna get this cabbage in there. Look how full this pot is. This really needs to cook down. we'll see if we need another pot. I'm going to add a little more oil. Well, it looks like DelightfulFoodMom.com was onto something with the half a head of cabbage, because I do have 2 pots going. I'm going to be having a lot of soup. Alright, so I split it up between the 2 pots here. And next I'm going to get this cabbage cooking between the 2 pots. And I'm going to put some stock broth, 2 cups each, into each pot, and get this cabbage cooking down. We'll start there. So I have 1 carton. Look at that. They are both full. That was a lot of cabbage. Now I'm just going to turn them both up to 5 and cook down this cabbage. We have a long way to go. They are cooking away, but they have a long way to go. This cabbage needs to really cook down. Look at it now. It's really starting to cook down. So I've used, in between both pots, I split the box of the vegetable stock, and I'm going to put in another box between the 2 of them. It'll cook down. How I'm going to fit all this soup into my fridge, that's another story. We'll find out. Alright, let's see, here we go. Alright. I do have another box if I need it. Okay. Okay, this is a project. I'm starting to understand about that guy in the 80s, why he had multiple pots on the stove for the his poor man's stew. Okay, so I mean, I had the vent fan going for a while there. We have yet to season this. But first, I do want to tell you, so I had this little notification on my camera telling me that my SD card was full, not working. And so I went online. It turns out you have to empty the recycle bin. And I looked in there, and I didn't know that the SD card reader and the recycle bin were connected. But there was stuff in there from 2018, so I emptied that. I had to take what you're looking at right here. Is a little card with only 2 gigabytes. There's the one that I had erased. From an old camera, so that's what's in there right now. But we have to start seasoning this thing up. So another thing that I'm cutting corners on, you know, I'm not doing like slicing up garlic. I have this Spice World organic garlic minced, and actually I'm liking this that I have 2 pots going, because we are going to split this all up, and it's going to be easy to do. So I've got, oh, that's a lot of garlic juice. Alright, we'll do that first. Alright. I'm going to put one heaping tablespoon of minced garlic in each. Alright, that's great. And the thing about the bay leaves, I happen to have two because one was cracked up. This one's a little smaller. I was going to put them both in the pot, but now I have one for each. I opened each can of my string beans here, and so one's going in each pot. This will be perfect. All right, next I have, I had a bunch of diced tomatoes, but I didn't want them to be, teeny pieces. So I got this chef's cut tomatoes. And I thought that I had bought 2 cans of this, but I didn't. I grabbed the wrong one, which is okay. This one is the same brand, but this one is peeled tomatoes. So I'm gonna split up both of these big, 28-ounce cans into each pot. Okay, we're back to the olden days with the cell phone over here because, yeah, I cannot figure out why my SD card isn't working. So anyway, we're going to continue. So we haven't seasoned it all yet. Now, all that's in now is the garlic. And we're going to have some crushed red pepper. And we're just going to sprinkle this in each pot. Just a bit. Okay. All right. So, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the recipes. All right. Oh, we still have the carrots over there and the green onions. So let's split those up between the pots. Now that the carrots are in, we're going to crank up the heat. I put them both on 5 now. At this rate, we're going to be here all night. Well, I am. Alright, next. I have here some Old Thompson California garlic and sea salt. So, we're going to put that in. We got the salt in. Next, we have balsamic. Holland House is what I'm using. Balsamic vinegar. 1/4 cup each pot. For some flavor, I'm adding Sylvia's Soulful Seasoned Salt. I haven't gone nuts on the salt yet, so I'm gonna do a palmful in each pot. I have cut this beautiful lemon in half, which again is great for my 2 pots. I have here my Priority Chef lemon squeezer. This was a product tester item from Amazon back in the day, but I really do love it because there's no way to get seeds through here. It's great. One down. Then the next pot. Smells amazing. This is great to go in your garbage disposal because, yeah, that takes out the stench out of the kitchen. I have the parsley from Kirkland. This is the big old McCormick blend, and I'm going to put a palmful in each pot. I still have the green onions, so at this point I'm going to put them both in the pot. Split it up. So I have here the Mount Olive mild banana peppers, and I've never opened it, but I think this is a great place to put some sweet in with the bitter. These really smell good. Okay. Now let's see. I do have this extra box of broth vegetables. Now, one of the recipes called for these old, chicken bouillons, but we're using stock, so this won't be necessary. Okay, so these are both boiling out. I really don't want the flavors to boil out, so I'm going to put them both on low. It does smell amazing in here. So I'm going to cook this for an hour. And then hopefully I can fit it in the fridge. We will take a taste test, but yeah, I'm probably going to have to put it in a bunch of containers. We'll see in a bit. I have one more box of bone broth. So I'm going to split this box. This is box number 4 between the 2 pots. And yeah, because that's a bit thick. So, yeah, it's cooled off enough. So I got this little bowl. And I just want to do a taste test of the soup. This is so good. The flavors are amazing. So, wow, that's delicious. So I will be making a nice hearty protein egg breakfast. No meat this week. I'm just gonna have this soup as much as I want, because back in the day they said, oh, you eat this soup and you lose 10 pounds in a week. I just want to get back on track. Hopefully I can find enough room in the fridge. I think I can. I'll make it work. I managed to get those 2 pots of soup in my fridge. A refrigerator for 1. Yeah, so there you go. If it's empty, pretty much empty to start with, yeah, you can fit it in there. That is lunch and dinner all week. Okay, we'll see you next time.